Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Welcome to the iContact demo today, which is a webinar in the Build Your Brand Marketing Series. If you're new to the Build Your Brand Series, please feel free to contact either Marilyn or myself for more information. We've done some webinars in the past on email marketing, building your brand, and we have a lot of exciting topics lined up for the future, so be on the lookout for those registration links. This webinar is, like I said, going to be a demo of iContact presented by our friend Hank Hoffmeyer, who did our first round of email marketing webinars for the Build Your Brand series. So welcome back to Hank. Just a little bit about marketing and communication services. My name is Jess Larkin, and I'm the marketing and communication specialist at Cornerstone. My information and Marilyn's are right there on the screen, so if you'd like to get in contact with us, we can help you flush out ideas for refreshing your brand. So be sure to contact us if you need some help with that. Just a little quick housekeeping. Be sure to check out the Individual Corner with Jeff Begwin every Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. He has a lot of different carriers that are coming on, and he goes over a lot of different topics as well. He's done some on Social Security before. He's worked with a bunch of different carriers, and I know in one of the next Individual Corner webinars, he'll be partnering up with Build Your Brand, and we will be going over building out a website. So be on the lookout for information for that as well. I'm now going to turn over the presentation to our friend Hank from iContact, who's going to be directing it today. He also has some special value-added resources at the end, so be sure to stick around to see those. All right, I'm going to pass it over to you, Hank.
Thanks, Jess. It's always a pleasure to be here and to talk about email marketing. Today, what I'd like to do is go ahead and show you my screen, and we're going to review the iContact platform and possibly talk a little bit about how email marketing can help you in your business and how iContact helps support you in that. I'd love to have some questions at the end, and if it's in relation to our platform, that's great. I'll answer those. But more importantly, if you have any strategy questions around how you can improve your email marketing, I would be happy to discuss that as well. When you log into an iContact account, you will first be brought to a dashboard that kind of looks like what we have here. And what you'll see is the last 10 activities that you did in your iContact account, and you'll have a snapshot of those activities, and that can be your opens and clicks, and of course a preview of what you're doing. And then you can shuffle through those 10 items, and you can click to view the full report to see how well they did. What I want to do now is just take a step back. Number one, talk about the help section and the settings you need to get started in iContact. Then we're going to move into what assets you need to start using a platform such as iContact or any email service provider, and that's going to be adding contacts and using your file library, mostly images. With the help section here at the top right, you would have your contact information for our support team, which is available via phone, email, and chat. And also there's some videos to help you get started or to learn about a specific area of iContact, and then a link to our help portal. If you're a premier client or if you have a strategic advisor, which is a dedicated consultant, their information would be here as well, and you'd be able to contact them directly. Moving over to the top right, you can have more than one profile, or let's say you have two brands. Maybe you do some selling B2B and some selling B2C, and for some reason you want to keep those entities separate. You can have different profiles, and you'd be able to log in and log out of each individual profile automatically by using this section here. And under settings and billing, it's basically where you just provide the information you need to keep your account up and running and to send emails. You can add or remove client folders or those sub accounts I mentioned, put your contact and billing information in, look at your invoices and receipts, connect to your social media accounts, and most importantly, your sender properties. What your sender name is and what your email address that you're going to be sending from would be put in there. And then we have our custom fields. Maybe you want to acquire more data than the information that you can acquire from our standard fields like first name, last name, business, and other types of information. Maybe you want to ask somebody's favorite color or something like that, or you want to obtain that from maybe your CRM, and you put that in here. That would be under custom fields. You'd set up any confirmation messages that would go out for maybe having somebody double opt in. In other words, somebody fills out a form and they say they want to be on your email newsletter, you could send them an email to make sure that they want to opt into that. That would be this confirmation message. And if for some reason you want to connect via our API, you want to connect another platform to iContact, and you are or have a developer on staff, you can use the resources there. And then you can just view and manage your uploads if you're uploading contacts. With that out of the way, let's take a look at contacts and how we get folks in here. I'm using my demo account. When you log into contacts, you're going to be able to see how many contacts you have, how many are subscribed, and then you have the orange and red section over here, which kind of tell you some other information about different statuses of your contacts. Then we'll show you your contacts, at least the email address, first name and last name, the date they were added, and then what status they're in. And you can edit the contact, you can delete them, and then for GDPR or the European legislation that deems that if somebody contacts you and says they want to have their data removed, you can permanently delete them. It's kind of like the nuke button. You hit that button and everything's just gone and wiped, helping you be and conform to GDPR. You might say, well, I don't have any customers from the European Union. Keep in mind that changes are going to be coming here to the US, so it's good to start to adhere to that now. And then you don't know if somebody has dual citizenship, as well as maybe somebody signs up for your email newsletter from the European Union. You want to make sure you're adhering because you could still get fined. So if I go into a specific contact, we can see more detail. But another thing to note is you can filter by specific lists or segments, and we'll go over segments shortly. You can filter by status, and then you can also search, and then we have advanced search where you can use any of the fields that we have. You can show 20 or more contacts here on the right-hand side, but if we go into an actual contact, we're going to have our basic information, first name, last name, and email address. Then we can show our standard fields and fill them out, or that may come over automatically upon upload or through a form. And these are the custom fields that I mentioned. Now I have a lot in here that I use for testing, but like birthday, company name, user type, stuff like that. You can have those fields in there. Those are your custom fields. On the right-hand side, we have the contact status, when they were added. Again, to delete, we can make them do not contact or permanently remove them. In other words, all their data is erased. It'll show what lists they're associated with, and you can add a subscription here just by clicking the add subscription and then attach them to another list. And when we look at the view contact history, we're going to see what happened to these contacts. So were they sent a message? Did they open a message? Were they added to another list? Kind of helps you understand what the historical value of this contact is. You can also have it be sorted by who did the action, what date range, and also filter by the event type as well under the contact history. When we move over to lists, this gives us kind of a similar view to contacts without all the color. List your list name, how many contacts are on each list, and always show, does this show on your manager subscription page, or when somebody goes in to update their profile or they go to unsubscribe, is this list shown on that page? Maybe you have a newsletter list, but you also have a specials list, and somebody's on a newsletter list and they go to update their profile, they might see you have a specials list and add themselves to that, or if they're on both lists, they can unsubscribe from one and not the other. We can search our lists, increase how many are shown, and we can also edit the list, view the subscribers on the list, which is similar to filtering. We can add a welcome message. In other words, anytime someone's added to this list, what we can do is automatically send them an email within minutes saying, welcome to my email newsletter. Here's what you can expect. Here's how often you can expect it, and you can unsubscribe at any time. If we look at the list health, I don't know about this list, it's a test list, but it's going to let us know, the ups and downs of this list. How many people came on board? What's the status of these people? Is it growing or is it shrinking, right? And that's helpful information to know. This way you know if you're losing subscribers or if you're gaining them. And of course, you can delete your list as well. You can create a list and then view all your list health, which will just bring it all up in one big chart. Under segments, it's basically a way for you to have a filtered view of your list. You can go in and create a segment. What we can do is give the segment a name. I'm just going to put my name there. And we could say all subscribers, a specific list, or maybe somebody that was sent a specific message. And then we would add some criteria. So we can use the contact field, message actions, or the date they were added to the account. Most people usually use stuff that's in regards to the contact, but here's another one for message action. So if somebody sent an email, did they open an email? Did they click, not click? Did the email bounce? Those would be the specific criteria around message actions. But what we could do is say if the first name equals Hank, I want to put them into a segment. And then we had does not equal, contains, and some other criteria here. We can add more than one. So first name equals Hank, and he opened this specific email. That would be a way to do that. Or you could say first name equals Hank and last name equals Hoffmeyer. It'll pull in Hank Hoffmeyer, but not Hank Williams, right? That helps you with targeting people. Maybe you want to target people in a specific state. If state equals North Carolina, I want to have them on a segment. And you can view the matching contacts. And then when you're on this segment field, you'll see all the details. So if we look at details, it shows you how many contacts are on there. This way you just have an idea of how many people you may be sending to if you choose that segment. And I'm going to go back to contacts really quick. What you can do is add contacts one by just filling out the fields that are there. You just fill out the field and attach them to a list, and they're off and running, receiving your emails. You can copy and paste contacts. So if you have just email addresses, you can go ahead and copy them and paste them into a box, and then you can upload with a CSV or an Excel file. All right, custom fields, I mentioned what those were. You can create some more here as well. I mentioned birthday, but if I went in to create a field, I could say the merge field is Hank, and we could be text, checkbox, number, or date. And maybe I want to name this Hank, but maybe I want to name this color down here. That's what I want my subscribers to see. In other words, you can have an internal and an external name, and should this show on the profile page if somebody goes to update their profile, yes or no? In other words, maybe you say type of client, B2B, B2C. You might not want them to see that because you're going to enter that information, and you don't want the subscriber to see that. So that's how you create custom fields. And you can inject a custom field or a standard field into an email using merge fields, and that's why you'll see the brackets. In other words, what I could do is say, hey, Hank, I noticed that you work with, and I could put company in that email, and it would automatically pull the company name from this field. We can go in and build sign-up forms to put up on our website, and it's highly customizable. We can give you themes to start with, but you can basically customize it any way you want. But if I change the theme, it's going to change the colors. But like I said, keep in mind that you can go in and you can edit the different colors and the settings. So on this field here, I can remove the label text, add it. I can change the width, just way it's bigger and smaller. Do I want to have wrapping and all that under that field? If I want to maybe get last name, I can drag that over and be able to obtain that. Under settings, we're going to basically name it, choose which lists it's associated with. We automatically add CAPTCHA. This way, bots do not sign up on your newsletter list or your mailing list, which is a big problem these days. We stop that using CAPTCHA. And we give you a default thank you and an error page, but you can define your own like I did here if you want to. In other words, where are people going to go after they complete this form? Under code view, if you take this script right here at the top, it's very simple. Put that on your website, and then let's say tomorrow you come back and you make edits to your form. What will happen is it'll automatically update on your website. You don't have to make any changes. The HTML output would give you the same type of result, but what you would need to do is come in and grab this every time you make changes. But also, if you have a designer in-house, they can make changes to the form on its face. This way it looks exactly like your website if you can't get it to look exactly the way you need it to in the builder here, but usually you can. And you can add it to your Facebook page if you want, and then you can see reporting, basically similar to List Health. How many people filled out this form? I don't have any data in here. Preview, save, and get the code are some options for that. That's how you get your contacts into the platform. This way you can start emailing them. The next thing is your file library. And for the most part, you're going to basically upload images to put put into your emails, but you can also add documents like a PDF or a Word document. Maybe you want to share a PDF about how people can save money on insurance or something like that. You can do that. We'll host it for you, and then they can download it. So you can upload an image, or you can basically, I believe, drag them over here. It doesn't show that, but you can drag them into this window. And then you can go in and look at your image, edit it. You can move it into a folder if you want to. We have folders, and you can delete it. We can crop it and rotate it. And there's some more exciting things coming with images down the road very shortly, actually. But like I said, I can crop this if I needed to. I can delete it, but that's our file library. I haven't really taken advantage of folders, but I can create a folder and I can add a bunch of my images in there. Maybe I want all my logos to be in one folder. That's something that we can do. Now that we have the assets out of the way, let's take a look at what you can actually do with iContact. We can go in and create a message. With our message builder here, or our editor, what you're going to be able to do is, if you want to, start with a theme. We'll give you some inspiration. Maybe you want to send out a summer email, and this one kind of looks a little bit along the lines of what your company colors are. You can go ahead and just start with that and choose a different layout and get started. And you can drag, drop, edit, remove, add, delete. You can see how to look on mobile before you even use it, and that's how the themes work. What I'd like to show you, though, is how you can build from scratch, because maybe you have a lot of your assets that you want to use, like your colors and maybe some images. But you can also save templates so you have them for later. If you want to bring your own HTML, by all means, please just use our HTML editor and paste your code in there. You can make a plain text image, and then if you want to import from a URL, you can do that. I'm going to choose Start from Scratch, and from here, I'm brought into the editor. I can give it an internal name. I don't have to, but maybe this is like email newsletter for August, but that's not what I want the subject line to be. That's where you can use the internal name. Over here, you can click Save, but know that it's automatically saved every so often. You have your undo and your redo buttons. You can do a spell check once you have some content in here. You can do a spam check to find out if the recipient server may mark your message as spam or not, and we'll let you know if there's any problems. You can do a test message to one or more recipients at once. You can create a split test here, or upon send. A split test is two different versions of an email that you'll send out to a small percentage of your list, say version A to 10%, version B to 20%, and what you want to do is wait 24 hours, and whichever one got the most opens, you're going to send it to the remaining 80%. So you're able to do that. By doing the split test here, you're basically copying this email, and then you can make changes to your version B, and that can be content, or it can be your subject line. Now, I highly recommend only testing one element at a time, because you don't know what might have created that surge in opens or the surge in clicks. You can save this as a new template. We can export the HTML if we need to look at it for any reason. View the plain text. If the email does not render correctly in, say, Gmail, they're going to serve the plain text. You can see what that looks like, and you can get help. We'll look at the preview in a few moments because we don't really have much content here. So if you have more than one sender property, you would go in and you would choose it. And if you want your reply to be different, you can actually have that. And then we would give this a subject line. And from here, I would need to drag rows in. If I chose a theme earlier, I would actually have rows there already. But what I need to do is decide how many columns do I want to start with. Maybe I want to start with this one at the top, and then I want to move to a one column below that. So that's kind of our framework that we're going to start with. And you keep in mind that for each row, you can go ahead and do a lot of customization to that particular row. Padding, alignment, background color. You can make the whole background color black. You can make a certain section black if you want to, once you start driving content blocks in. All right, so let's say we want to put an image over here on the left-hand side. We can use an image URL from our server if we want to, or I can choose something from my file library. So I'm putting the iContact logo here. I'd put my alt text here. If I want to link that image, I can link it. And let's just say that I feel that that's a little bit too big, right? The default size. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. We can change the image width. We can change the alignment to be left. And we have padding and some other options. So that's my image. And maybe on the right-hand side, maybe I want to put my social media. And from here, we can go ahead and edit the URLs for Facebook, for Twitter. And then we have all of our other social media profiles that we can add here, and email address and website as well. We could change the size to be bigger or smaller, orientation, alignment, color. I like the black and white here, like this. By all means, you can add your own images and link them to your social profiles. We just want to give you a quick way to add them to a template. And then you have your padding, so maybe I want to make the padding a little bit more underneath. I can do that. Then I'm going to put a nice hero image down over here. We can go ahead and choose another image. Let's select this one, say 15%. And then I want to put text right below that. So notice I didn't add another row. I'm just going to put the text right below that. And this is going to be similar to almost any text editor, even just like Word, a special. So type that in, and I could format it, and I could say hello, and then add in first name like I mentioned earlier. Hello, first name, save now. So we have some text in there, and I can change the color. I can make sure I change my hyperlink colors to a different color if I want to. And again, we have our padding, so that's text. Collage is just a gathering of images, more than one in one cell. And then video, if you bring over the video block, you can just put a link to your video here, and the thumbnail will show up, and we already have an overlay, and it acts similar to the image block. We can add a button, because now that we have specials going on, we want people to actually buy our products, right? So I'm going to increase the padding here. We can go ahead and add a link to our button, change the button color to say closer to red. We can change the button text as far as font color. We again have our padding. We have a divider. For some reason we want to divide content, we can, and stylize that. And then we can drag our own HTML. If you have your own HTML and you want to add it into a block, you can go ahead and just put that right in there. So now that we have something that looks similar to an email that we might want to send out, we can preview this on mobile and desktop, see how it's going to look. And also, you notice that there's a tab called Theme. By default, if you start from scratch, we're going to give you the gray theme. But what I can do is say, well, you know what, I'm not so happy with this one. I want to choose a different one. I always like this one here because it has a lot of background and a lot of different colors. What I can do is apply this. And what's great about this is I can actually go in and start making some changes and save it as my own theme, right? I can say the background color, I don't want it to be that light, I want it to be darker. Let's see, the text alignment, I want it to be centered. And link color, I don't want it to be that dark, I actually want it to be green. So you can go ahead and make your text color different. Your link color different, show or not show the underline. So once you go through and you make all the changes to your theme, you could save this as a theme and apply it to any layout. Then you could save a theme and a layout to be a template, if that makes sense. So you can have a couple different versions of an email, one that has a lot of images and one that doesn't, and you're ready to go because you have templates. But maybe then you want to start with something else and start building it, but then apply the theme. You can go ahead and do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and prepare to send my email because I want people to take advantage of the sale. I can either select all contacts or select one list or segments. I can exclude people. Maybe I want to send to everyone except if they live in North Carolina. So I can go ahead and select my North Carolina segment here. And under advanced options, I could send as a split test, as I mentioned. I'll give my split test a name. And I'm going to do the 10-10-80. So 10% of my list is going to get one version and 10% is going to get B. So maybe this is actually a different email I built in the past. I can go in and choose that. And I can preview the message if I want to. And then I would come back after I send the initial 20% of my subscribers the split test. I'd go back and look and see, hey, do I want to send version A or version B to the remaining 80% of my list? I'm just going to uncheck that because we're not going to do a split test here, but you can post it to the social media accounts that you have connected to your iContact account. Here you can have a summary, and it's going to have the subject line, sender properties, is the reply to different, you can preview the email, and we'll let you know how many people are going to get this email. You can quickly schedule this email to go out at a different time. There's multiple ways to change this. You can go up and down with the arrows, you can type, you can click, you can drag, and then you would schedule your email, or you could send the email immediately. I'm not going to send this message, but what will happen is once you go ahead and send your message, it will be dropped into the drafts area, or actually scheduled, sorry, and be ready to send out within a few moments if you want to send it right away, or you'd see when it's scheduled for. And then here's a couple split tests. So maybe I want to send this one because it had 100% opens and this one had 0. I would go ahead and send this to the remaining. Under sent, we can go in and see some statistics in regards to our email. Let me see if I have one here. This one actually sent out to a few people. Actually, this is a test email, but basically you would have some information about the email. You'd have your open rate, your bounce rate, your no info, how many clicks you had, how many people it was sent to, how many were open on smartphone, tablet, computer, and if you did share it on social media, what's the engagement, and then you have some details down here at the bottom. So we can look at clicks, opens, no info, and get expanded data. Some of the expanded data would be, what is the bounce reason? What link did they click on? And opens, it wouldn't really give you much information, but the two that would be bounces and clicks. You would just have some expanded data there. You can export message data, all of it, your opens, bounces, your no info, your clicks, your unsubscribes or opens per device. And on the fly, you can create a segment. If I want to create a segment of everyone who did not open this email, I can go ahead and do that. So we could put like 816, no info, and we can create that segment, and then I can send to that segment. And on the tracking dashboard, we just have some more information here. And I'll show you automated in a moment because I need to go over automation first. That's kind of email there. So you have your drafts scheduled and sent. Anything that you start and that you did not send, like the email I was creating, would be in drafts. It's right here. And with automation, what we'll be able to do is come in and create an automation. We can start from scratch or have a welcome series, and we have more coming very soon. What we could do is start from scratch, give the automation title, continue, and from here we can have when a subscriber enters a specific list. I can also create a list. Let's just say they enter Alan list. What I want to do is select a message, and maybe it's the message I just made. And action timing immediately or after, but I can send it immediately when they are added to a list, or after 3 days I can go ahead and send this email, and that would be adding people to an automation. Let's take a look at when I have active. Now you can pause and you can stop automation, to pause it to make edits and stop it to completely stop it. But under here we have copy and reuse, pause and stop, and then view report. So this was sent to 2 people. 2 messages sent, average open rate is 50%. So this kind of gives you a quick glance at what's going on with this automation. And if I go back to email and automated, these are just my automated emails that went out. Here's the 2 that we were just discussing in that automation sequence. So that's pretty much iContact in a nutshell, everything that you need to do to get started. And it's a pretty robust platform that we've been updating over the past year, and we're still adding more and more. One thing I wanted to offer to everyone today is 3 ways that you can have a relationship with iContact, and more importantly, an asset that I want to provide to you. The 3 ways that you can start a relationship with us is, first is we have a lot of great information available on our website, our blog. We have a podcast called Talking About Email, and you could talk to almost anyone here at iContact. Even if you don't have an account, we'd love to help you with strategy or questions that you may have. That's free. You don't need to spend a dime. We just love to share information to help businesses succeed with email marketing. Second way is through a free trial. You can sign up for a free trial for 30 days, and you get a customer success manager that's actually going to help you with, not even just support, but with strategy, account settings, how to get set up. And during that first 30 days, we want to make sure you understand how to use this platform and determine if it's a good fit for you. And last is our Premier service, where you are paired with a dedicated strategic advisor who's a consultant that's going to help analyze what you're doing, talk to you, and plan with you how you can have better performing email campaigns. And you also get a project, or you can add more if you want, that you can use to have content written. We can create emails for you, email content, create blogs for you. We can do social media content. We can write press releases for you. A lot of people don't know we do that, but we have a great content team here and a design team that can help you create great looking emails, graphics for email, web, and social media. And again, that's our premier service. So those are the 3 ways that you can develop a relationship with us, from free to paying. Lastly, iContact scoured through over 1 billion emails that were sent from our servers to come up with an ultimate subject line guide. This is a report that has 501 actual email subject lines that either worked or didn't work, anywhere from maybe like a 98% or 100% open rate all the way down to less than 1%. So what's going to work, what's not going to work? It's broken down by industry, and it's also broken down by different types of emails that were sent, like broadcast, regular emails, welcome messages, split tests, and more. This is a comprehensive report that's going to help you succeed. If you want to learn how to develop a relationship with us, or if you want the subject line or both, you could text Hank to 444-999. Again, text Hank to 444-999. You'll also be added to my journal, which is an email I send out every month that has helpful information about articles I found pertaining to marketing, apps that I found that help me become productive, audiobooks I'm reading, books I'm reading, and any other type of great information I've found, or maybe experiences I've had that made me a better business person. You can unsubscribe from my newsletter anytime you want, but I do hope you find that helpful, and I hope you text Hank to 444-999 to get that subject line guide. That guide is free, by the way. There's no charge for that subject line guide. But that concludes today's demo and helpful information. I'd love to answer any and all questions that you may have.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Hank. I just wanted to note that Cornerstone actually does use iContact. It's incredibly user-friendly, and it's something that we find a lot of success with as far as email, so we definitely recommend it as well. We do have a couple questions here. So the first question was, I am looking to try ClickFunnels. Would iContact be able to integrate into ClickFunnels? So something like, provide your email to be added to my top 10 Medicare things to know in 2019.
There's a third-party platform called Zapier, and we partnered with them because they allow us to connect to over 1,000 different applications, and they are on there, yes. But what you do really is create a Zapier account, and you say, I want to connect lead funnels to iContact, and ClickFunnels to iContact, and you would log into ClickFunnels and connect it to Zapier, and with iContact you add like an API key, which is in your account. It's in the settings I showed you, and a password, and then it connects your iContact account. Really what it comes down to is just mapping different fields. In other words, anytime a new lead comes through ClickFunnels, I want to send the first name, last name, and email address to iContact. And you would just map those fields. Here's a lead from ClickFunnels, and here's iContact. I want email to go to email, first name to go to first name, last name to last name. It's kind of easy. Actually, I'm the person that you would talk to if you need to set that up. Therefore, if you sign up for a trial, or if you have an account, you can ask anyone, say, I need help setting up ClickFunnels, and I hear Hank is the person to talk to about that. I'll be glad to do a screen share, let you share your screen, walk you through that setup. And keep in mind, you can also integrate with other platforms. Bonjoro is a great video platform that anytime anybody's added to your iContact account, say through a forum, you can get a notification and record a video on your phone saying, hey, welcome to my email newsletter. I'm glad you're here. You can unsubscribe at any time, but I hope you receive value. And then that would automatically go out to that person. So that's one way to have data go out from iContact. But yes, data can come in from ClickFunnels.
Okay, great. I will have the person that asked that question, I will get in contact with them to see if that's something that they're interested in. So I have another question here, and it's, can you have a happy birthday email? So I think the question gets down to, is there any way to automate an email to go out to a larger list for specific times throughout the year?
Yes, it is feasible to send birthday emails through iContact.
Okay, great. I think those are all of the questions that we have today. Yeah, it looks like that's all we have. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact me at jlarkin@crnstone.com, and we can field any additional questions that you might have. Hank, thank you so much for being here again today. If you are all interested in additional webinars about email marketing, Hank has helped us out with the Build Your Brand series on email marketing, and those are all posted on YouTube at our Cornerstone YouTube page. So be sure to check those out if you haven't already. All right, the webinar is going to end there for today. Thank you again, Hank, and you all have a great day.